Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Regardless of our party affiliation or congressional district, we are all mourning the senseless violence and loss of life in Orlando. As we learn the names and the stories of each victim, our focus now turns on how we respond, how we prevent another act of terror and hate, another tragedy to which this country has become far too accustomed. We face a multitude of shortcomings that this nation must account for. Access to guns designed to maximize death and destruction, as well as a very real threat that violent extremism and homegrown terrorism pose to American lives. Two debates, it's worth noting, that this body has repeatedly failed to take up. In the days and weeks ahead, these issues deserve and demand our attention. But as we wrestle with the means by which terror was expressed, we cannot ignore the specific target it sought, the LGBT community. We often use words like indiscriminate when we talk about gun violence, referring to the terrifying randomness these tragedies can reflect, the sense that it could happen anywhere, anytime, to any of us. We cannot use the term indiscriminate here. While details are still coming to light, all signs point to a crime motivated by hateful prejudice against a specific subset of our population. And it comes at a particularly difficult time. This month is LGBT Pride Month. 30 days to celebrate what it means to be an LGBT American, to be true to yourself, to remember the blood, sweat, and tears that activists and advocates have shed for generations, demanding better of their country. On Saturday afternoon, I walked through the streets of Boston for our Commonwealth's annual Pride Parade. It's one of my favorite events of the year. The celebration, jubilation, camaraderie, and energy that takes the city by storm. First year I participated, I had the honor of marching with my predecessor, Congressman Barney Frank. Year after that, I walked with my former college roommate, Jason Collins, who had recently come out as the first gay professional athlete in a major U.S. sport. Standing next to Congressman Frank and Jason, I saw not only what their presence meant to that sea of supporters surrounding us, but what those supporters mean to them. An incredible wave of love and acceptance that they had to fight a lifetime to see. A statement of support from a community and a country that most of us get to take for granted. This past Saturday was no different. Love and tolerance emanated from every sidewalk, every storefront, and every street. Yet less than 24 hours later, we woke up on Sunday to the devastating images of the Pulse nightclub. Families and friends searching for loved ones. Heroes carrying injured victims in their arms to a nearby hospital. Strangers waiting in line for hours to donate blood. A community far too accustomed to violence and hate, forced to confront a painful truth, that for all of our recent strides and successes, this country continues to give discrimination against the LGBT community a home. While this body stands firmly united in heartbreak and horror over what transpired on Sunday morning, we cannot ignore the example that our actions or inactions have helped set. Our nation was founded on a sacred promise of equal treatment under the law. Yet even today, we still fall short. When we allow some Americans to be fired from their job because of who they love, when we deny access to public accommodations because of who you are, when we fail to end legalized discrimination in businesses and hospitals and homeless shelters, when we set policies that treat an entire community as less worthy of our protection, then we cannot be surprised when that prejudice takes root across the country and rears its head with gruesome, gut-wrenching consequences. Bigotry begets violence. This is a lesson our country has learned time after time at tremendous human cost. Today, if we are serious about responding to hate, then we have to dismantle the policies within our federal government that give it cover. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yield back.